guys, welcome to the FTC pod, where we talk about women reproductive rights. And I'm your host for today, and my name is Amechichi Amaka. And with me today is two beautiful women who will be giving us the full gist, the tea about women's rights. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And with me we have...
Hi guys, my name is Amina Muhammad. I am a lot of things, but most profoundly, for the sake of this particular gathering, I am a women's rights, reproductive rights advocate, and also a seasoned facilitator.
Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth Obanega-Khan and I am a public health practitioner. I also advocate for the sexual and reproductive health rights of young girls and women.
Okay, so nice to meet you guys.
Pleasure.
It's nice to put a face to the chat and all. So we're going to be talking about consent and choice today when it comes to women's reproductive rights. So I want Elizabeth to tell us when we talk about consent and choices, what should be at our mind, what should we be thinking about when we hear consent, when we hear choices, what should we be thinking about?
Okay, so when you talk about consent and choices, like the name implies, so for choices it's like giving people proper information, accurate information that would enable them to choose, to make an informed decision. So for a decision to be informed, you have to have already let the person know, okay, these are your choices. You should not hide anything from the person. Let the person know everything. What are the possible choices that you can make? And then you set it out, and then the person is able to choose. Then when we talk about consent, we talk about asking people, like asking people for a yes. It's basically, are you comfortable with this? And it's not something that you force people into. It's not something you persuade. It's not something you say please now. It's not something you bug people into. It has to be enthusiastic, it has to be verbal, and it has to be like
informed,
yes,
yeah.
Informed, like yes, I am giving my consent. You should not take silence is not consent. So that's sort of like a general meaning of what consent is.
So Elizabeth has given us the bread, so just butter it. So that's...
Okay, Elizabeth has actually hit the nail quite on the head. I just really want to add that, just like she said, consent is freely given. There's an acronym that helps when it comes to consent. Yeah, number one is it's called FRIES, as like FRIES, and that is number one. It's freely given. It's reversible. Oftentimes you hear people say, "I had sex with her once." Sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, just because we had a thing one time, it has to go on over and over again." In fact, if you are in the middle of a thing and the lady or the guy, it could go either ways, and anybody consents from the beginning, and maybe in the middle of it the other person decides to say, "Oh, I'm no longer interested," they have a right to reverse. As soon as they said stop, no means no. Stop is stop. That's what consent. That's what one of the attributes of consent. So it's irreversible. You could take it back at any time. It's enthusiastic. Yeah. It's not something that people give you like, oh, okay, your wala is too much. Okay, maybe you have bugged them, you have disturbed them, you have used plenty paragraph to worry their life until they say, okay. Consent is really very enthusiastic. I'm excited to let you do this. I'm excited to say, okay, let's do this. I look forward to it. I'm so excited, yeah. And E is enthusiastic, and S is specific. It's not, I'm not sure. Okay, no. It's very clear. It's specific. Yes, I am into it. No, I am not into it. Consent is very specific. So that's the acronym FRIES. Choices, on the other hand, is having a variety to choose from. Like they say, variety is the spice of life. So choices is basically letting people know that there are a lot of options to choose from, and it could span from different angles. You could look at it from a point of contraception, having the fact that you could have a variety of contraception to actually choose from. The fact that you could have choices, also the fact that you have yes or no. That's also an example of choice. It's just saying that it doesn't have to be this particular thing. It could vary. It could be anything. You make the decision. It is your decision. That's why it's known as choices. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, you did. You covered everything. So another question I want to know is, we're talking about women reproductive rights, right?
Yeah.
How important is it for women to have the full decision, to have the final decision when it comes to reproductive rights. We know when we talk about a married couple, you know, at that time now there is this skeptical thing that makes it look as if the woman has a half decision, the man has like the final say. So do you think when it comes to married couple, do women should have the final say when it comes to reproductive rights?
So women indeed have the final say. They just may not know that they do, or they have just been brought up in a way to think that they do not. At the end of the day, it is your body. You are a human being, and it is, you know, you have your human rights over your body. Do you understand? A lot of times people say we are pregnant, but no man has ever died of pregnancy complications. That's just it. So that is where that's the beginning and end. When you talk about people saying, oh, I don't want my wife to go through CS, you're not going to die of CS. You're not going to die of vaginal birth. It's the woman who is going to die from those things. Men don't die of pregnancy complications. Men don't have pregnancy scares, because you just cannot get pregnant. You just cannot give birth. And so you cannot go through these things. Therefore, the woman whose body is going to go through these things, who is going to go through possible preeclampsia, going to go through gestational diabetes, loss of teeth, loss of hair, death, possibly, should be able to make a decision and say, am I ready to go through these things or am I not? And when you talk about contraceptives, the woman who is going to have the hormonal changes and the hormonal imbalance, and people lose weight, some people gain weight, some people have hemorrhage, just a whole lot of things, just because they are trying to use birth control. You know, so it is definitely women who are going to give birth, who are going to breastfeed, who have the final say. Not even should have, you have it. You're just not willing to like use your rights, because your rights are in you. You have those rights. It doesn't matter if the government is trying to take it away from you. It doesn't matter if society is trying to take it away from you. You have those rights. It's your right. And if you tell someone, these are my rights and I'm going to make these decisions, that's it. That's fine now. That's the end.
So thank you very much. I mean now.
So on this particular topic, yeah, I find it a little bit of it's a little tricky one, yeah, because we have factors like religion playing, and especially for a country like ours, Nigeria, we're an overly religious people, because a lot of the things that we carry out is rooted in culture, religion, and these are things that we're very heavy on. So I cannot ideally. I mean, I normally like to say that if you don't have a uterus, you should not have an opinion where uterus is concerned, really, because if you've never been there, you've never felt it, how do you know it? How do you now want to say what should be done and what should not? Ideally, really, I mean, to the common sense, that's how it should be like. However, there are different religions that have their different teachings. So on this particular topic, I'd like to really just encourage open and clear conversation. If, as much as the man does not have a uterus and cannot contribute to giving birth, aside, of course, you know, the sperm and nothing else, aside the major contribution that he does, I mean, from the process, after the pleasure, the entire remaining process is actually the woman to actually carry to term, to bear. I'd like to say that it's open for conversation between the two of you. And I don't want to go into schooling you on who to marry and who not to marry. But again, it takes us back to the importance of marrying a partner who is understanding, informed, open, and compassionate, really. True. Because, for example, if you marry a partner who is kind and compassionate, he should be the one to be telling you, Baba, you should go and do CSO, because have you seen what people go through going through natural labor? It shouldn't have to be a topic for debate. If I wake up and I'm like, I really don't think I want to carry this pregnancy to term because this is how I feel, he should be compassionate to feel like, oh my God, is that what you want? Oh, let's do it. Like, having partners who really understand you. And I know oftentimes we jokingly say, during talking stage, what do you ask each other? Have you eaten? You want to have you eaten yourself to death? Instead of you to actually have this honest conversation, this open, important conversation. What's your take on this? Okay, personally, I don't really key into, for example, if you don't like children, you are not about to start liking children because you want to really be with somebody who likes children. Oh, I don't really like children, and that's on period. It's your choice. I mean, we're talking about consent and choice here. So it's important that for this particular topic that you are with partners in any kind of relationship at all. They are open to conversation, important conversation, that are open to life-changing decisions. that could happen at any point, and you know in your soul that they will actually take you for it. So yeah, as far as consent that regards anything that has to do with the woman's body, with anybody's body at all, for the love of God, let the person who it affects directly be in charge of their decisions. All you have to, the only thing you're going to be in this case is an advisor. You only get to say, oh, these are better choices, oh, these are some of the choices I think you might want to take, but the final decision should be that of the person, in my opinion.
Okay, so how do you think we can ensure that women's choices are the final decision, even when they differ from their partners or other people's choice?
Okay, so for me, I would just say that we cannot ensure it. Me sitting down here, I cannot ensure it. It is you, the woman, who is making the choice.
I think there are some things you can do as
so we can only create awareness, and people would only choose whether to take what we are saying or not take it. Do you get? That's what I'm saying. We cannot exactly, say ensure, but we can say that, oh, we have informed you that this is something you could do and this is something you could not do, and people can say that, okay, I have heard this, I have been told this, but whether they actually take the advice is something that we do not have control over. That's what I would say.
Do you have
So on this topic, information is power. Information is key, and oftentimes you see that people do some of the decisions that people carry out are from either a miss or malinformation or a complete lack of it thereof, and it comes with dire consequences. In my own part, I feel like we can actually do a lot, because with the degree of ignorance that we really have on these topics, particularly from where I come from, topic for another day, there's a lot of ignorance that is rooted in what culture has buried and what culture has allowed, to a point where people don't even know some of these rights that they actually have, even in terms of religion, because religion always takes precedence over culture where I come from. If religion says this and culture says the other, you are definitely going with religion. However, because we have found a way to kind of intertwine religion and culture, we have now found spaces in religion, and we have inserted cultural norms into them, and we have kind of cloned them and made them look like it's actually religious when it's actually cultural. So I'd say personally, a lot of awareness will help. Particularly, the peculiarity here we should notice is where I come from. A lot of awareness will help, because if you sit people down and you start to talk about these things, they are not even aware of it to start with. If you don't know something, if you're not informed, we talked about choices. If you're not informed that you have this, you don't even know what to choose from. So it is whatever that is presented to you on the table that you're going to take. However, if I tell you that, oh, these are your choices, you have A, B, C, D, you choose. I get to say, oh, okay, tell me the advantage of A. If I choose A, how do I run it? How does B work for me? How does C work for me? But if I just bring to you and I'm like, take A, this is what you have to, you don't get to choose. So I'd say a lot of information. And another thing again is helping women to actually, not helping per se, I'd say encouraging women to have high self-esteem. I notice a lot of times that people who have high self-esteem, secure women, secure people generally, do very well when it comes to choices. When you are secure, and the security I'm talking about here is not arrogant, it's just that I know that me gang, it is me, I am the shit. Like I am the big deal. I am okay, I am all rounded, I am grounded, I am leveled. So I get to say, this is what I want and this is what I don't want. And all of this is actually rooted in a lot of having your self-esteem. If you have your self-esteem together and you know that you are enough, you get to make decisions by yourself and not allow anybody to actually come and lord it over you. Nobody comes to tell you that, for example, now where I come from, there's a lot of, this, you wake up in the morning, you're not laying in your bed, who marry you? Or my mom, till now. Or I wake up, before I start to work, I don't live with my parents, I live alone. But before I start to work, my mom is going to be like, oh, you sleep, my dad actually, you're sleeping till, how will you be sleeping till time? When you marry, you have to have your children and this. And no man is going to marry you. But now I'm dating somebody who is like, who texts me around 11. I'm like, hi babe, I wanted to call you, but I know you'll still be sleeping. Let me know when you wake up. I love you. And I'm like, daddy, look at that. I thought you said no man will marry me, but look at that. Do you get, like, because I was honest, I was open from the very beginning that me like this, I sleep late, so I sleep in. I sleep for a long time. Boss lady. And you know this. I sleep for a long time. And I mean, if you're not okay with that, it's okay. The door you came in through, you can use it to go out.
Yeah, so I would just like to say, from what she just said now, like when she said, if you're not okay with that, you can leave. for a lot of women, it seems like when somebody is not okay with your lifestyle and the person leaves, you feel like you've lost something. Do you understand? But that's not so. You're just not compatible, and it's okay to not be compatible. Please continue. I just want to strike
How
that
many
point.
people knows that? How many
Yes.
people- how many
You see,
people
that's
know
the importance
Yeah.
of awareness.
Yeah.
The awareness that we're talking
So
about.
people just feel, oh, you've lost something. It's like, no.
And I like to really
Society has
say,
made us to believe that without being in a relationship,
You're
without
not-
having a partner,
They
Yeah.
don't accept you. Hey.
and again,
there's something following you.
I'd like to really say that we need to catch them young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, I have noticed one thing with my younger sister, within her peers, she's always a little bit different because she's always seeing, like when people do, when her peers do other things, she's always like, well, what's wrong with these girls? Why are they doing like this? And I got to realize that it actually has to do with the influence I had on her.
Yeah.
Because now she's seeing like, how would you follow me and talk? That, okay, somebody actually asked her out and she didn't feel like he was old enough to ask her out. And she was like, somebody that is parents are still buying boxers for him, why is he asking me out? And then she was what? She was about 16 or thereabout. But exactly. And do you get like? And I realized that it just has to do with the fact that I am very open with her. We have conversations every time. We talk about this, and she's always thinking of like, she's talking about things that ideally she cannot. You not expect your younger ones to actually talk about you, because I actually we have that kind of environment between myself and her. That's why I'm always saying catch them young. It's not when they are in their 20s that you want to start teaching them to you are sufficient, you're okay, read books, be open. And that's another thing, talking about being all-rounded, having self-esteem. You have to work on that. You cannot just have self-esteem. I love to encourage people to read books. To be honest, a lot of things I have learned, a lot of my perspective that have changed came from some books I read, some speakers I listened to, some poetry I actually indulged. These things actually changed my opinion. A good one was, before now, when you ask our parents to leave an abusive home, they'll tell you, children, I'm staying for the children, I'm staying for the children. I read a book.
Yes.
I read a book by Colin Hoover, It Ends With Us, and she completely changed my perspective. And in that book, the mother, Lily, left her husband that she was madly in love with for the sake of her child. And you're wondering how. So what happened? The explanation was, she stays with her husband who abuses her, like the way her mother stayed with her father. She resents her father. She really resents her father. So she's thinking, if I stay with this man and my daughter grows up to see him hit me, she would resent him, and invariably it will rob that child of a father's love, because she would never be able to love her father. You are hitting my mother, how am I going to love you? So because of that child, because she wants to kind of preserve the love, the idea of fatherhood that child has, so she left the marriage. And that made a lot of sense, and I read that from a book. But before now, we were told countless times that the reason why our mothers don't leave abusive homes is because they want to stay for our sake. Hello, I am almost 30 and you're staying for me? How?
Yeah. So another thing I would just like to, so when you talk about self-esteem, aside seeking self-esteem on your own, another way that you can make sure that your child has self-esteem is through parental upbringing. So a lot of parents, people give birth every day, so you have a responsibility to your child to make sure that the self-esteem is high, to make sure that this child knows that he or she has choices. How? When I was growing up, for the longest time, I don't know when that started, but I know that as soon as I could speak, my mom does not buy, for example, clothes without taking me there and saying, oh, this is what I have chosen. You look around, tell me the one that you like, even if it's different from the one I have chosen. If I choose something that is fragile, she would say, okay, so this dress is fragile, but if you really like it, I'll buy it for you. And truly, she would buy it from me. And when she gets it, you would see that it will spoil, just like she said. But the point is that I chose it, and she gave it to me, and I was informed, like, oh, this could go wrong, but I still chose it.
And you're bearing the consequences, most important.
Yes. So for me, it is very strange that I don't have a choice in matters.
Yeah.
And because of that, people like to use the word opinionated with me, but
Highly opinionated. I heard that a lot. She's so highly opinionated. Yes, deal with it.
yes, but it's like, because I've always had something, I've always been asked, oh, so what do you think? Oh, do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? And when people say, oh, my child does not like this person, so I force the person, it's very foreign to me, because my parents want to tell my mom, oh, I don't like this person. Okay, don't worry, you don't have to speak to her. Once you just greet her, you can leave. Do you understand? So parents, you have to instill it in your child by actually letting them have choices. choices.
Yeah.
Letting them argue with you. My mom will like, do this. I'm like, okay, so why do I have to do this? And she'll explain it to me, and I'll say, oh, okay, and then I do it. Do you understand? So it's like, you don't just tell the person, oh, you need to have self-esteem. You need to have self-esteem. So it's like you build it. You know, even growing up, a lot of, even there was this time, I think there was a guy, not a guy, daddy, a boy, a small picking. He was like picking on me. People are not saying, oh, it's because he likes me. My mother say, hey, don't even hear that rubbish. If he picks on you, bite him. Oh, yes. So I used to bite. I used to scratch and bite. So if you fight me, I'll fight you back.
Yeah.
You know, so that was it. So that was the orientation I grew up with. So right now I cannot do mixed signals like, oh, I don't know. If you're straight, be straight. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I like if you say I like you and you're not acting in that manner, I'll be like, abeg. Do you understand?
Thank you.
That's because of my parental upbringing. So upbringing is very important. So if you want to have children with high self-esteem, you need to bring up children in that way, and you need to know that they would also challenge some things you tell them, and you would have to explain it to them.
It's important.
That's how you're bringing them up. So don't say I want my child to be like this, but then when the child is talking at arguing with what you're saying, say, hey, why can you argue with me? That's not
You
how
have spoiled.
yeah,
You have
that's not how it's done. So you explain to children, and then that is how you grow their self.
And they will now
By no
spray emotional blackmail on you.
Yeah. So then none of those seen and not heard things. You are seen, you are
You're heard. Without needing to shout.
My auntie told me that one time. My mother said, "What rubbish? Why you're not furniture?" I said, "Correct." And like that was the end of that. I didn't dwell on it because my mother said, "Hey, why you're not furniture?" And that was the end. So it's just upbringing, really.
And I had a similar story while I was growing up. I think somebody said I met somebody and he was really in a hurry and he was like, he wants to marry me, and I came to tell my mom, like, I was really pissed off because I just met you. I mean, I went to a shop to shop. He was older. I was 17 then, and he just came and he was trying to impose the whole marriage thing like he was doing me a favor, and I was pissed off, and I went and I was telling my mom. She was like, when you know be goats, like she made it sound like, yeah, you were right to be pissed.
Yeah,
how did he tell you that when you're not a goat?
Exactly.
Like, it is good that you just go to the market, you pay and you just drag.
Yeah.
But she was like, because he came with a teddy bear and all of that, he bought me a teddy bear, and he was like, I bought a teddy bear. You don't want? What do you want? I'm like, hey, what is this? And when I went, I was really angry. I was telling my mom, like, and she was like,
she was angry along with you.
You did mad, when you be goat. And I'm like, okay, so you see, but I'm not a goat, because really it's a goat that you go and buy, pay in the market and you take home. So really, like Elizabeth said, the importance of how we bring up children in our immediate environments can never be overemphasized.
Yes.
To be honest, when it comes to hustling, like, not hustle, and hustle is quite a bad word according to the dictionary, but when it comes to fending for myself, being able to afford the things I want, I don't subscribe to who will stop for me. I have never in my entire life gone to my start to say who buy me shawarma, who stop for me. I don't subscribe to any of that. I have internalized this whole thing of, if I want it, I will work for it and I will get it. For a long time. I think a lot of it came from from the way my father raised me. My mom used to say, she's a girl. And my father would say, girls don't eat. If a girl can eat, let her work. So I have started to manage my father's business from the age of 14. And oh my God, the way my father gets you to do these things, you take it to the middle of the ocean. You want to teach you how to swim, you take it to the middle of the swimming pool and say, oh yeah, well, meet me at the edge. And he'll leave you there. So and he's like, he'll take me to that particular thing. Maybe the person, they'll explain to her and they'll explain, oh, this is how you do impress, this is how you do, and he'll tell you, if 1 naira loss, you see what I'll do to you. And that's all. Fear will not allow you to fuck up. Oh my God. So I feel now I am grown and I'm not even under my father, but oftentimes I want it. I don't know how to say who will buy for me. When I see something and I like, my next thought is, hey, now which money now I go use buy this thing now? Which work? Like, should I take my salary? Or wait, should I take from my business? My default is never someone else come to buy for me. And even in a relationship, it has given me a lot of issues, because a lot of men actually want you to really ask them. They really want to be there for you. But no, actually they do. But it still feels good when they're like, I want this. It makes you look girly, submissive. It's really hard for me, because oftentimes I'm like, I like this thing. The best thing I can actually do is, which one do you think will fit me better? That is the best I can do. And then you tell me, choose this one. I'm like, okay. And that's the last thing. The next thing you see me, I have buy it. Me, I have by. So I feel like, yeah, the way you really raise your children, what you tell them, how you encourage them, the what you say to them,
Giving them the freedom to choose.
Yes, to choose. Especially what you say to them. You find parents bringing down children. You are an idiot, an absolute idiot.
Yeah,
you don't know
understand
anything.
Yeah.
Look at your mate. Comparison is a thief of joy. Look at your mate. Like all of these things we don't know, they contribute immensely to how a child forms.
Yeah.
And you have children that are traumatized. That's why they say before you enter a relationship with anybody, ask them their childhood trauma and have they healed from it. All of us have trauma. But all of us. That's on period.
Thank you very much. You guys have said everything. So one thing we need to know is that body autonomy means your body is your own, is your right, is your power, is your dignity, is the key to gender equality, is a fundamental, is your right, your overall right. So if you have any question, any comment, just drop it down on the comment section. We will see you on our next podcast session.